Hello everyone, this is Roy PCB, your trusted PCB partner. Today, our topic is the pros and cons of 4-layer PCB stack-up orders and how to choose between them. In the previous video, we already learned about the basic structure of 4-layer boards and the importance of plane layer integrity. Today, we will focus on a key issue, the stack-up order of 4-layer boards. Different stack-up orders result in vastly different electrical performance, and understanding their advantages and disadvantages is key to improving PCB design. So here is the 4-layer PCB we used in the last lesson. I will bring up the stack-up structure for you. As you can see, the details here are very meticulous. First, there's the silkscreen on the top layer, then the solder paste on the top layer, followed by the solder mask on the top layer. After that comes the top copper, the copper itself, and the thickness of the top copper layer. In the middle, there's a dielectric layer. Last time we chose a stack-up of signal layer, GND, power, and then the signal layer in the stack-up structure. The second layer is the GND signal layer, and again, pay attention to the copper thickness. Generally, the inner copper layers are thinner than the outer copper layers. So when routing signals, or if you need to route power lines, make sure to pay attention to the trace width. Otherwise, it might not be sufficient. Then there's another dielectric layer. Next, the third layer is the power layer, and again, pay attention to its copper thickness. Then comes another dielectric layer, followed by the bottom signal layer, where the copper thickness is also 0.035 mm. After that, there's the bottom solder mask, bottom solder paste, and top silkscreen. This is the stack-up structure we used in the last lesson. Here there's also a diagram that simplifies this even further. It directly lists the main 4 layers and the dielectric layers, and on the right side there are labels for the core material and the pre-preg layer in the middle. Here we will meticulously analyze 3 common 4-layer PCB stack-up orders and thoroughly review them in the context of practical applications and real-world scenarios. To introduce their respective advantages and disadvantages, let's take a look. I've made a table here. Let's first look at one stack-up structure. The top layer, L1, is GND. The second layer, L2, is signal plus power. The third layer, L3, is also signal plus power. And the bottom layer is GND. In this stack-up, both the top and bottom layers are GND, while the 2 middle layers carry signals and power. The advantage of this layout is that it provides good EMI shielding. The outer layers are complete ground planes, forming an effective Faraday cage for the internal signals, which effectively blocks external radiation and improves EMC performance. This is especially beneficial for products that need to pass strict EMC certification. As we can see, the board is essentially wrapped in GND, with signals and power routed in the middle. External signals are also shielded by the ground, and the board's own radiation is blocked by the complete ground plane, reducing emissions. However, the downside is that there is a high risk to signal integrity. This structure does not have a dedicated, continuous power plane to serve as a reference for the internal signal layers. If signals and power traces are distributed on L2 and L3, or if the power plane is split into multiple isolated regions, it will severely disrupt the return path of the signals, resulting in degraded signal integrity and increased crosstalk. Poor power integrity. There is no tightly coupled plane between power and ground, resulting in higher power impedance, making it difficult to provide stable, low-noise power supply. This structure is not suitable for applications with high overall board power consumption or those sensitive to power quality. Routing limitations. The ground planes occupy both outer layers, which restricts the direct routing space for components on the outer layers and may require more vias. This is quite obvious. The main advantage of this structure, as mentioned earlier, is its excellent EMI performance, which is extremely beneficial for passing EMC certification. However, the drawback is also clear. The power and signal share the same layer, so the power plane cannot be fully intact. And then the biggest issue is that our components can only be placed on the top or bottom layer. So whenever you want to route leads from the components outward for connection, you must drill holes. Only by using vias can you connect to the second or third signal layer and then proceed with routing. Therefore, this routing method is extremely limited. As for practical applications, this structure can be considered under certain specific conditions in scenarios that are low speed, low power, but have extremely high requirements for EMI shielding. However, For most high-speed input circuits, this structure is not recommended. These are just some special structures used for specific scenarios. When we design PCBs, there is no absolute rule. No scenario is always better than another. It all depends on our application scenario and usage conditions. Each has its own applicable conditions and space for survival. Alright, that's all for today's content. The other two methods will be introduced in the next video. If you thoroughly enjoyed watching this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for even more engaging and informative content. Thank you very much, everyone, for your continued support.